So we're going to talk about the natural offer evolution. And this is part of an interesting business concept. And it's also like a verbiage concept. It's like the natural evolution of words, like words that meant something to our grandparents mean nothing to us, which could mean something to our grandchildren. That's just how things work. And what was like totally not okay to talk about then is okay now. What's not okay now might be okay later. Like politics, sex, and religion was unacceptable to talk about in the 50s, and now there's an open conversation about it. It's the natural evolution of languaging, and now there's a natural evolution of offering. And so this was the first offer, and this, by the way, offer worked. I would say 18 months, 2 years, maybe 3 years ago. This is what most Facebook ad agencies did in exchange for money. They would get their client a lead, which was a name, number, and email. That's what they used to do. And by the way, like this worked. This was totally okay as an offer to do in exchange for money. It was like mind blowing. It was cutting edge. It was amazing. Oh my God, you're telling me that I can pay you $1,500 and I get a list of people that are interested in buying what I have to sell. Holy crap, this will blow me out of the water. And the narrative with the client and the Facebook ad agency was like, look, Mr. Johnson, as part of buying my services, I'm going to give you a list of stuff. Your name, number, email. I'm just going to call back and pitch them and get them to pay the agency's offer. An offer is like what you do in exchange for money. I'm not going to go into like a really in-depth answer and Q&A session on what an offer is. I mean, just literally like this is what you do in exchange for money. And this is what used to be a Facebook ad agency's value add and what they did in exchange for money. And you, by the way, you could charge like $1,500, $2,000 for this. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, maybe even 1 year ago. But there's a natural treadmill that comes with language, that comes with offer, because ultimately people are trying to compete in what's called a marketplace. Like Tesla used to be. Here, I'll show you. We'll do a natural Tesla evolution, right? So Tesla, it used to be only electric vehicles. This was so cool. This was so exciting. Oh my God. Tesla could charge like $100,000 for electric vehicle, and everybody would pay all sorts of money. This is so awesome. This is the Facebook ads equivalent of just Facebook ad to lead to offer to phone call, whatever I just drew right there. And then it was autonomous driving and must driving, something like that. And then that was like the cool thing. And then they could charge more money for that, or at least keep their market share while other people were doing electric vehicles. And then Tesla said, no, our new cool thing is autonomous driving. And pretty soon they're going to come out with a new thing like, their own version of insurance, or summon, or rent it on Uber, or auto driving forever. I don't know. They're going to come out with a new cool thing coming up soon. And I don't mean like solar, and I don't mean boring company. I just mean like Tesla, the car company. Like they had this natural treadmill effect of their offer. Like what worked a year ago won't work now. Apple did the same thing. Like they had the camera, or sorry, they had the iPod, and then they're like the iPod's not good enough. Then they had the iPhone, and then that wasn't good enough. Then they had the watch, right? They had like new products and services, and natural evolution. And what's interesting is that like most Facebook ad agencies, they don't evolve. This is your extreme advantage, by the way. They're really stuck at the 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or 1 year ago client relationship, which is just lead generation. That is old school line of thinking that will put you behind the curve. That will not put you in a winning position. You're essentially selling, I don't want to use this language, but like old stuff. And if Tesla and Apple and Amazon stuff expires and gets old after a year, like who wants to buy a year-old iPhone type thing? What makes you think that you can sell 1 year old stuff? And this is how I get like slightly angry at our collective marketplace and our collective industry, because most Facebook ad agencies are simply selling lead generation when that is the Apple equivalent, Tesla equivalent, or Amazon equivalent, just old stuff, right? And so there has to be a natural movement forward. From there, we started selling customer opportunities. The customer opportunity is like my term for this. I stole from John Logar. It's probably an incorrect term, but it's a higher qualified lead. A real life human being that lives in your serviceable zone saw your ad, clicked on their ad, let the landing page load. They typed their name, number, and email. They clicked call now, or you called them. It's like it's more steps. It's like a higher quality scenario. It's not just random leads, it's customer opportunities. And so, of course, the movement of an agency as a whole in a marketplace, well, we moved over here, customer opportunities. And then the marketplace moved again. People are trying to compete and trying to go ahead and win business. So they improved on this offer in exchange for money. And then they moved from customer opportunities to booked appointments. By the way, if you're offering booked appointments, you are now industry standard. If you're offering customer opportunities, you're probably 6 months behind the curve. If you're only offering lead generation, you're already behind the curve. And this is why your clients are leaving you. This is why you have a high churn rate. This is why your sales pitches are going poorly. It's because of the product or service they offer. What you're doing in exchange for money. You can talk about customer opportunities where we like lean in with the USP of customer research. That gets us in the door. Soap opera sequences make us look awesome, but there's a natural evolution, and that has to move forward. And moving into booked appointment. Great, fine, perfect. Everything is okay. If you are here, you are really fast. Jeff Lopez 0 to 100K, Robbie 0 to 200K, Joe Kaplan 0 to 300K, Steph Signs is getting a 100 location franchise deal coming up. I mean, it happens time and time again. I don't care if you're doing real estate or bike shops or med spas or massage spas. Like if you're offering booked appointments, you will always beat out somebody offering customer opportunities who will always beat out lead gen. Just like if you're offering autonomous driving, you'll always beat out somebody who does electric vehicles forever. And now I think about Tesla's evolution. They had other stuff too, like free gas or like free supercharging or something like that. Or they'll come to your house, which is not that big of a deal, but something that they announced. That's just how it works. And the reason why I bring this up is because I think that there's a next evolution. There's something else that's down the pipeline. We're moving from booked appointments to nearly guaranteed, or I'll just say show ups. Market's moving again. It's moving from lead generation to customer opportunities to booked appointments. Now we're talking show ups. Booked appointments is good enough for now. You probably have a 3-month runway before this gets undercut by people in my tribe and Steph's tribe and people who want to go from 100K to 200K. And then you'll be like, oh my God, this isn't good. My clients are leaving me. And then you won't know this type of process. You won't know it's the offer that isn't working. You'll go back and say, I need to put more money into Facebook ads. I need to put more money into the prospecting engine. And you're going to pitch. And 1 out of 10 people are going to buy from you at a lower rate. Just get pushed out of the market, just like Kmart does, right? Like Kmart's problem is their offer. They just can't get stuff to you fast enough. It's not price competitive. And the offer for Facebook ads evolution, put on do not disturb, is show ups. Like you can't guarantee show ups, but like we're going to get people to show up. Like I'm talking, they're going to show up in your tattoo shop, show up in your bike shop, show up in your med spa, your massage spa, all of that. If you are now talking show ups, you're ahead of the curve. If you're talking booked appointments, you're at the curve. Customer opportunities behind the curve. Lead generation, you're being undercut by, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but somebody in the Philippines or in India in a low-cost country that can do your job for $250 instead of $1,500, doesn't have to pay rent for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month, and then can take that money and put it back into Facebook ads and outbid you. That's it. The bang for their $250 is much more than your bang for your $2,000, and they'll just consistently undercut you. No other way around it. We even have a guy in the circle just joined the white label who only does booked appointments. That's it. He doesn't talk leads, customer opportunities, booked appointments. The guy's based out of India, charges $500 a month. So now you got to compete with that. How do you compete with that? We're talking show ups, Mr. Johnson. I'll get people to show up to your office. How do you show up? How do you get people to show up to your office? Well, this is how. Let me go ahead and bring my notes up on the right side of the screen. Because, come on. This is how you get people to show up to your client. The first part of all of this is a working Facebook ad. If you don't have this, everything we're talking about doesn't make sense. You cannot get this to work. You need a working Facebook ad. If you don't have a working Facebook ad, you're going to have a bad time. No other way around it. And by a working Facebook ad, I don't mean a $21 teeth cleaning. That's out. That is lead generation stuff. I don't mean a $37 backcracking adjustment. That is lead generation stuff. That's stuff that was brought from the 1980s. We're not talking about that anymore. I'm not talking about a low ticket, just fill your funnel and get people signing up, and maybe there's people moneyless. I don't mean that at all. When I say a working Facebook ad, I mean you're getting 5 to 10 people every week saying, I want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 with your client, aka their prospecting engine, right? This is what you need to build out. If you don't have this, you're going to have a bad time. The first things first is you need to create an offer that gets 5 to 10 people every single week saying, I want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 for the client. If you do not have this, nothing is going to work. How do you do that? Well, you don't do a $21 offer. You have a conversation with the client saying, what do you charge $5,000, $10,000 for? My only job is to get people interested, raise their hand and saying, I want to buy $5,000 to $10,000 worth stuff for you. Sometimes it's 20 grand. You only need one, and your client can say this is working. And now you're not sending hundreds of leads to your client arguing about the follow-up. Instead, it's like, hey, we got somebody who was interested in spending 10 grand. Did your front desk call them back? That's a much better conversation than, hey, I got somebody interested in paying $21. Did you call them back? They're not going to do that anymore. That's lead gen stuff. That's iPod stuff. That's electric vehicle stuff. Don't do that. We want people to show up. So the first things first is we get 5 to 10 people every single week saying, I want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 with a client. And the second, we get them in with a easy to say yes sign up offer. That is not a $21. That is not a $37. Nope. Instead, it's a conversation with your client that says, what do you do in exchange for money that you're willing to give free that naturally leads to your $5,000 to $10,000 sale? If you're doing medical stuff or dentist stuff, then you could say, actually, I can't even tell you, right? Because that would be like, I don't know, leading out of the bag, but whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. Like, what do you do in exchange for money that would lead naturally to a $5,000 to $10,000 sale? If we were selling bikes, it would be, hey, if you're interested in an Argon 18, we have 5 left. They cost $8,995. And if you'd like, you can bring your bike in for an estimate, do a test run on the Argon 18, and get a $50 voucher for upcoming Argon 18 training class. That type of stuff. And first and foremost, you don't want to discount beyond anything that they're doing. Your client will hate you for it. They will think that the leads are bad. So you don't have a discount conversation. You just say, what do you do in exchange for money that will naturally lead to a $5,000 to $10,000 sale? That's it right there. So the first things first is you need this. The second thing, you need to give your staff a conversion academy. And that's just my Jeff term about saying, give them a training portal, give them a video series, give them a ClickFunnels or a Kajabi or a high-level course area when it comes out, whatever it is. As soon as like your client says, yes, I want to pay you money, you say, great, here's a username and a password. Give this to your staff, have them brush up on the scripts, the follow-ups, the text messages, the inbounds, how the CRM system works. That's new offer stuff, right? If you're not offering a CRM and just Google Slides or Google Sheets, you're going to have a bad time. That's old school stuff. You need to give them those types of information. All of a sudden, your client says, all right, it's worth me paying you money. Otherwise, I'll have immediately regret, immediate fear. I messed all this up. Now I have to justify it to my wife or my husband. So you need to give your staff a conversion academy. Sometimes this is called a training portal. And as a side effect, by the way, of having a training portal, you won't have to spend more time with them on the phone. You just say, but did you look at the videos? This will cut your interaction with your client by 90% and increase the quality of your front desk by like 150%. So you need to give your staff a training portal. Immediately, by the way, when I'm going into a client's office and saying, hey, I know you think about spending $2,000 a month with me or $2,000 with the other guy. By the way, is he trying to sell your $5,000 to $10,000 stuff and giving your client giving your staff a training portal so they know how to sell $5,000 to $10,000 stuff? Or are they trying to tell you that you need to call back 250 people for a $21 teeth whitening? See what I mean? See what I mean? So you need to figure this out. You need to give your client a training portal. And then you need a business process tool. And this is confusing. I get it. Just understand what I mean by business process. I mean a series of steps that happen automatically to the lead in the front desk. That's it. This is high level stuff, by the way. I'm talking like pipelines and squares and all that fun stuff. So for example, Go ahead and draw the sucker out real fast. So you're going to have a lead, and then you're going to have an appointment, and then you're going to have a show up, and then you're going to have a no show. There you go. These are 4. There's actually a 5th one right here. Come on. That says, this is like the wrong term, but you know what I mean? Deal in the works. And then you're going to have another step right here that says sold. This is probably the wrong terminology, but you know what I mean? Let me go ahead and figure it out. Does this work? There you go. You're gonna have like 6 steps. These steps will be different for your client, different for you, but effectively, I'm now tracking my lead, not just a lead, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through. And then you're gonna have a series of steps of things that happen because of this. For example, if the appointment does show up, you're gonna have a sneaky survey and a welcome text that fires automatically after 3 or 4 days. Sorry, if there was an appointment. If they have a show up, you're gonna say, "Hey, how's your experience? Does this make sense? What do you think of the staff?" If it's a no-show, you're going to have a series of text messages go out saying, "Hey, it looks like you didn't show up to your appointment. Would you like to reschedule?" Brings them back. Deal in the works. Yes, they showed up. Yes, this came from you. Yes, the information is tracked. Yes, you can prove it. Mr. Johnson, why would you want to cancel? You have 4 deals coming up for $15,000 a piece. If one of these deals closes, my $2,000 that you spent with me turn. Oh, you bet I do. Now, by the way, if your campaign is iffy on week 3 and 4, you've got proof that they should renew. And then you've got a column that says sold, and you can very clearly say, "Mr. Johnson, look, you spent $2,000 with me. I get it. We have to give you a return on investment. This is what happened. We got 356 people signing up saying, 'I'm interested in buying what you have to sell.'" That's a lead. And of those 356 people, my automatic follow-up system got them to automatically schedule. And it looks like we got 35 appointments out of it, which is pretty darn cool. It looks like about half of those people showed up and another half of those didn't show up. But what's interesting, by the way, is we've got a no-show sequence coming up. So the other half of those people, we're going to decrease that by about 30%. So all of a sudden your show up rate is going to be 65 to 70%. That beats what you had the other marketing company, right? Great. And it looks like we had a couple people say they didn't have a great experience. So I'm going to have your staff go ahead and go back to the training portal. Cool, right? Mr. Johnson, it looks like we sent about 350 leads. Your staff did no work. They didn't have to do anything. They just set up an appointment. And the 350 leads, by the way, they're all trying to spend $5,000 to $10,000 with you. But like, I get it. You're busy. I'm not going to fight you on this. I'm going to have my VA call and schedule appointments for everybody. Cool, right? By the way, this cost me like $30. That's it. And all of a sudden, we're scheduling appointments, show up rate, no shows, funnels, automatic CRM system kicks in, deal in the works, and then sold. You only need one $5,000 to $10,000 deal, and your client says, "Let's renew." Fundamentally, at the core, the reason why a lot of Facebook ad agencies are not having success is less about the technical side and more about the offer side. They are going to clients and saying, "I want to get you 100 leads, 200 leads, 300 leads, 400 leads, that I want to spend $21 with you." And Steph Signs is coming up and saying, "I don't want to get you 300 leads. I want to spend $21 with you. I want to get you 15 people to show up to your office wanting to spend 10 grand with you." The old way of working, this right here. I want to get 100 plus leads, sign up, and have you call them all back and bug your front desk, hoping these 100 plus leads turn into $21, and then complain to you when you don't know how to sell to these unqualified leads. That is your accidental narrative with your client right here. When you are saying 100 plus leads and a $21 teeth whitening, I don't care if all the math in the world shows that you are right. Your client will hate you for this and not renew. That's the old way. Here's the new way. Let me go ahead and dress this up real fast. The new way is saying, "Mr. Johnson, I don't want to get you 100 leads trying to spend $21. I want to get you 15 people to show up that want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 with you. We'll handle follow up, tracking, and all that jazz. Not all 15 are going to spend 5 to 10K, but hell, if we get one or two, an ROI, isn't it? This is the new way. The old way, which everybody here is probably doing unknowingly, is literally telling their clients, I want to give you an F ton of work, which causes a flywheel in the wrong direction. Like guys, like why would you give your client more work? You hate it when I give you work. You hate it when teachers give you work. Why would you give your client work? The old way, you're saying, I want to get you 100 leads to sign up and have you call them all back and then bug your front desk and then hoping these 100 leads turn $21 and then complain to you and say you're a bad client when you say that these leads aren't any good and you don't know how to sell to unqualified leads. Unqualified is in quotations because it's like halfway sarcastic. The new way, which we will be teaching in the $97 Facebook ads masterclass taught by Steph Signs, is I want to get you 15 people to show up that want to spend 5 to 10K. We're going to handle the follow-up, the tracking, the no-shows, all that jazz. And not all 15 are going to spend 5 to 10K, but hell, if we got 1 or 2, isn't that an ROI? Doesn't that justify my fee? That's how it works. This philosophy right here and this way of working, well, all of a sudden turned a $17,000 deal, ad spend plus management, into $200,000 in sales for a client. And I have proof. I've seen the receipts. If you went to your client and said, I want to give you all of this, and I went to that very same client and said, I want to do all of this, all you got to do is do your job, who would they say yes to? Who would get that client? And who is talking old? This is the new way. If you're talking leads, you're talking old stuff. I hope that makes sense.